What's up, dudes? What do I think about the Tylenol thing? Does Tylenol cause autism? Autism existed before Tylenol, so no. Autism existed before Tylenol. They called them changelings. So I think what's happening is people are listening to the wrong people. So we know more about autism, but we don't know a lot. I would love it if people thought of autistic people as a new race of people who have had the turn of the evolutionary wheel. Autism, when you hear is a spectrum, people often think it's a line, and it's not a line. It's like, and what women with autism want you to know, it's a video, and I'll link it in the comment section here in this video. And lots of like divine feminine showgirls with divine sensuality. Sometimes people are like, they got that thing. They just got that it thing, the it factor. Yeah, it's usually high vibrational, high functioning autism. The showboys also present this way, where rather than just your standard Asperger's, planes, trains, and automobiles interests, mathematics, that kind of thing, these kind of people may be interested in that as well. It is a stereotype, but people fall into it. These kind of people are more hyper-focused. I hear Casey are more hyper-focused in arts and entertainment, music, literature, the arts, fine arts. So every year we learn about autism, it gets broader and broader, and it's because it's a new race of people. And rather than think of the spectrum as a line, think of it as a 3D type globular thing with little outcroppings and little canyons. And so, like, over here, which people who are not autistic, such as the Tylenol claims and stuff, are talking about something they don't know about. So once again, it's like listening to someone tell you what a donut tastes like and they've never had a donut. So what they're only focusing on is high needs autistic people. So maybe nonverbal, rocking, really has high needs. That's just one kind of this new race of people called autistic. And their body hasn't, and I always channel it, that hasn't completed the transaction correctly. But way over here are geniusy autistic people that are shooting rockets up in space, having them turn around and land on a bullseye. These people can communicate telepathically. Spectrum-y people are united. Now, telepathic communication is not like walkie-talkie talk from one person to another in your mind. It's like, oh, look at that person over in the corner, over and out. Yeah, they're totally hot, over and out. Like through the mind, that's not what telepathic communication is. Telepathic communication is more of another form of language through energy and emotions. And so the easiest way to explain it, if you're my generation, is a Care Bear stare. So you might pick up on somebody's emotions they're projecting out, and you may receive that information and be connected and feel that person. But there's not like words going back and forth. It's a deeper language. So what we have to remember is people can be autistic and something else as well. And so a lot of high-functioning autistic people don't come forward and say, hey, I'm autistic, or they don't even know. If you're in my generation, you might even not realize. And the reason is because of these stereotypes. So, for example, newsflash, local boy killed his mama, cut her head off, and put it in a pot on the stovetop. He had Asperger's. Yeah, all the Asperger's people are like, what? I've never had an urge to cut my mama's head off and put it in a pot. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, the autism didn't make him cut his mama's head off. He was also a fucking psychopath too. The psychopathy, the psychopath in him made him cut his mama's head off. The autism probably made him proficient with knife skills. It's like saying, local boy cut his mama's head off. He had diabetes. Well, the diabetes didn't do it. No, neither did the autism. He was a fucking psycho, too. So I call those people scary autistic. And they're kind of like way over here on this 3D thing of what autism is, where it's, if you conceptualize it as a new race of people, it makes a lot more sense. So scary autistic people would be local boy who cuts his mama's head off, Adolf Hitler, Charles Manson. So it wasn't the autism, it was that they were a fucking psycho. And so that's what people need to understand. And so that's what I'm kind of doing with my mission too, is to show the cool, fun, sexy, neat, fun side of high-functioning, magical side of high-functioning autism. Now, it's important we start understanding that we should start listening to grown-up autistic people explain what autism is. The people who eat the donut every freaking day can tell you what a donut tastes like. So we just need to shift the thinking, in my opinion, and more people can come forward and say, well, here's the truth, I am autistic. And then we can get this negative stereotype squashed. So people who know me, who may have known me when I was younger, if somebody had said, I'm going to go through a list of people you used to know, tell me if they're autistic or not. And if I was on that list, if somebody said Molly Spillane, they'd probably say no. But if they said, hey, guess what? Molly is high-functioning autistic, they would probably say, oh, well, that makes some sense. So it's just a shift in perspective. And for some people to get brave and to say, this is who I am, and there's nothing wrong with me. It's okay to be this way. We have to remember that this is evolution. So that's my take on the whole Tylenol thing. We need to start listening to autistic people, because every single autistic person has said that's a bunch of bullshit. Autism existed before Tylenol. Autism existed in the Middle Ages. In Russia, they used to call autistic people holy fools. In Ireland, in all over, actually, people were leaving their children in the woods because they thought a fairy came and took them, because one day they were vibrant and nice, and okay, I hear nice smile. Okay, somebody might see somebody smile. One day their child was there, vibrant active, communicating. And then seemingly the next day they weren't. What happened? That's where everybody says vaccines. I think correlation is not causation. I think it just happens to be the timing when here in the United States, I don't know about other parts of the world, where our children get standard vaccinated. It just happens to be the same time that autistic people are around, tend to retreat into their hermit crab shell. And so, back in medieval times, people would say, my child was here. Now they're not. What happened? Yeah, there was no Tylenol. What? And then, unfortunately, the way they conceptualized it and dealt with the big change was telling themselves an evil fairy came and took their child and stole it from them and left this imposter, this changeling. And then they get scared of their own kid and go leave it in the woods to die. All the while grieving their real child that got stolen by the fairies. Unfortunately, that was their own child that they abandoned. Going through the natural phases of autism. With autism, there's a lot of retreating inside of a hermit crab shell. That's how I explain it. And then coming out. And then retreating. And then coming out. A personal story, my daughter, she would only wear tagless t-shirts and biker shorts, cotton biker shorts, or cotton leggings that you get at Target. For years in elementary school, that's all she wanted to wear. And I thought to myself, is my daughter ever going to wear anything but leggings or biker shorts and t-shirts or long sleeve t-shirts? And then almost overnight, all of a sudden, she's in middle school. Boom, here comes fashion. The girl who would never wear pants with a button, anything uncomfortable, anything less than soft cotton fabric. Now she wears jeans and belts. She's doing her makeup, her hair. She looks absolutely beautiful. She gets ready in the morning. She just came out of her shell. And so if you have a spectrum-y child, here's the thing to know. They're a real person, they're a whole person, and they're exactly how they're supposed to be. And they're going to be okay. The fear can get really deep as a parent, and they're going to be okay. So the first thing I wondered with this on another topic, the first thing I wondered was, is Trump's family going to start bringing forward a new pain medication? So a lot of times when leaders, for example, when leaders go to war, they may take a minute. You may say, is our country going to war? What's happening? The leaders are getting all their businesses in order. They're getting all their contracting businesses in order, everything in order to make a bunch of money off war. And as soon as they got all their new businesses started, they announce, we're going to war. And then they make a shit ton of money off of the war. It's self-serving. So the first thing I thought was, well, clearly, well, when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to take ibuprofen. And so doctors recommend Tylenol. Well, now they just wiped out Tylenol just like that. Acetaminophen. Yeah, is somebody working in the pipelines for a new kind of pain relief? Let's all keep that in our mind and see what happens. I'm waiting for Tylenol to come out with a statement, a lawsuit, a something or other. But we'll see. We'll see. Is there going to be an autism-safe pain reliever that will be on the market shortly? There's a message. All right. Well, let's get something positive. Let me find my grace oracle. What does the grace oracle have to say? I'm going to put... Now, remember, all of my messages are interactive. I'm going to put what women with autism want you to know. It's a short little clip. It's a video here on YouTube. And I'll link it in the comment section of this video. And then I'm going to link one of the most informative videos about the history of autism that I have found. And it's by an autistic person. It's time we start listening to autistic people explain what autism is. So I'll put both of those in the comment section of this reading. And this reading originated on YouTube, the Tarot DJ. And so if you don't feel comfortable clicking the links, I totally understand. I promise it'll go right to the video. But you can also, I put the title too. You can also, if you still don't feel comfortable clicking, I'll put the title. You can copy the title and paste it into the search of YouTube and that video will pop up. But I promise I'm a spiritual leader. I'm not Nefarious Lincoln. What's the last message? I just heard Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln may have been spectrumy. Mindfulness. Manage your mind. When we direct our thoughts and words towards the outcome we most desire, we ignite grace. All right, there's a message.